Garcia on 2 counts. Conspiracy to unlawful transport illegal aliens, and I'm just getting this in my ear. Tell me the other one. And unlawful transportation of illegal aliens for financial gain. Sorry, I was trying to repeat it when it was being told to me in my ear. So this is what is happening right now with DOJ. This is what the announcement is going to be. So, Lisa, it appears, I mean, are they going to be getting him back in order to indict him?
One would think that if he's being criminally indicted in the United States, that he is on his way back to the United States or soon will be. And Katie, I should note that based on reporting so far, it would seem as if these charges against Kilmar Garcia may emanate from a traffic stop incident in Tennessee some time ago, where he was pulled over because he had a number of immigrants in the car with him. That did not result in criminal charges against him at the time, but could be at the heart of these charges that the Department of Justice is announcing today. I should tell you that as I'm sitting here, I am trying to find the federal indictment and haven't yet.
Julia.
Just wanted to put all of this in context, Katie, if we can, because this isn't the first time we've heard about this traffic stop in Tennessee, and that's why they're bringing him back. His lawyers repeatedly said he was not convicted of any wrongdoing for that incident, and that if the Justice Department wanted to charge them with that, they should have done so before deporting him. So basically, this is the Justice Department. We think we're about to hear from Pam Bondi making good on that promise and saying the promise that they've made that if he was brought back, he would be charged and then deported again. I just wanted to go ahead and give us what his legal team has said about this incident in Tennessee, where we say Kilmar, the justice team, the legal team representing Kilmar Abrego Garcia, said that Kilmar worked in construction and sometimes transported groups of workers between job sites, so it's entirely plausible he would have been pulled over while driving others with his vehicle, and he was not charged with any crime or cited for any wrongdoing. So now they're bringing back this incident. They held him for a long time at this traffic stop in Tennessee, where there were others in his vehicle who may have been undocumented immigrants. So
okay,
that's what they're bringing back now.
Just to be fully clear here, because when you say the unlawful transportation of illegal aliens for financial gains and the conspiracy to unlawfully transport illegal aliens for financial gains, that does sound very serious. And Lisa and Julia, your reporting suggests that he was potentially just going to a construction site and going to work with other people who were undocumented in the car.
Well, I mean, certainly that's not reporting that I have personally, but I trust that Julia has that reporting. But one of the things I want to point out, Katie, based on what we're hearing now about the charges, if there is a conspiracy to transport undocumented immigrants for financial gain, that is not necessarily something that relates to a single incident. It may relate to allegations that Kilmar Garcia was engaged in that conduct for some period of time or with other people. We'll have to wait for the charging documents to see how that's going to manifest itself in terms of these charges. But we have indications that these charges go back longer in time than a single count could. Conspiracy charges usually can be brought from the date of the last act. So you can go back further in time with a conspiracy charge than you might ordinarily be able to if the charge is just a straight up, you're going to be charged with trafficking undocumented immigrants, for example.
Julia, they're doubling down on trying to say that, J.D. Vance and the administration kept taking issue with the way that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was described in the media and how the lawyers were describing him, that he was a Maryland father. They say that he is a dangerous person, and they say that he was an MS-13 gang member, a leader of MS-13. There was that very strange moment in the White House when the president was interviewed by ABC News. He was asked about the picture of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the knuckles that the administration had posted with the symbols on them, a skull, I think a crossbones, a heart, and maybe a crown. And superimposed over that, clearly photoshopped on that, was MS-13, seeming to indicate which, what letter or what number each symbol represented. And Donald Trump was confused by it. He thought he literally had MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles. And I make that point that the administration, since this news came out, since it was reported in court documents by the government that he was mistakenly deported, they have been trying to adamantly him as a dangerous criminal. Do these charges that we're seeing today, do they back that up?
Well, look, Katie, just to zoom out here and go back to the beginning, he was deported under the Alien Enemies Act, which means he had no due process, no chance to try to defend himself in court, because they said, as we pointed out, he was a member of MS-13. These charges don't necessarily connect him to MS-13, even if he was later convicted of unlawfully transporting undocumented immigrants. That's not a direct connection to MS-13. And the reason why this one man became such a flashpoint at this point in American politics, and really the whole figure of what's happening with Trump deportation policies, is because it was a mistake. He was given in an order from an immigration judge, an order that he could not be deported to El Salvador, that there was enough fear of him being deported there that he could not do that. And instead they deported him anyway without due process. And the way they got around the due process was by saying he was part of MS-13. Even if he was part of MS-13, it was still a mistake considering that judge's previous order. And so it really became this flashpoint to show that this administration was putting people on planes very quickly in order to get them out before they could be stopped by courts. And then in the end, they were having to go back and look through someone's history to try to find evidence of a criminal conviction or criminal stop in this case, really. I mean, a stop under suspicion of criminality that didn't turn into a conviction, and try to really defame his character, to say, why are people defending this man? Of course, we also heard about problems in his marriage and 2 orders of protection filed by his wife. And so there was a lot of work kind of after the deportation fact, after he was deported, after the fact, to show, look, this is a dangerous man that you are now trying to defend, and really became a shouting match between, or back and forth between the Trump administration and the media. But in the end, the one question they've still not been able to answer is, did you mistakenly deport this man by defying a judge's order? Did you even know about that judge's order? What other mistakes did you make like this? I guess this is more than one question. And why did you think that this man was connected to MS-13? And what is the evidence of that?
And that is the big one. These are not charges related to MS-13.
No, they are actually.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the indictment right now, and Katie, MS-13 is sort of integral to the charges that the government is bringing today. They say in paragraph 6 that MS-13 was a criminal enterprise engaged in, among other activities, acts including firearms trafficking, alien smuggling, narcotics trafficking, and they are accusing Kilmar Abrego Garcia of engaging in a conspiracy between 2016 and 2025, so an almost 10-year history of using his status, and I'm reading from the indictment right now, to further his criminal activity. They say that over the course of the conspiracy, he knowingly and unlawfully transported thousands of undocumented aliens who had no authorization to be present here, many of whom were MS-13 members and associates. And maybe most importantly, they have co-conspirators 1 through 6, and it appears, again, based on what I'm reading in this indictment, that several of these co-conspirators have communicated with the government and told the government that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was involved in this conspiracy to traffic both people and weapons all across the United States.
This is such a messy story. Tom Winter is going to join us as well. He's here now, NBC News national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent. So, Tom, what else can you tell us?
Right. So just to piggyback off of what Lisa was saying, this is not just the one traffic stop in Tennessee. That kind of provides a window into what they said was 9 years of criminal activity by Abrego Garcia. Specifically, they're alleging he worked one of those co-conspirators that Lisa was referring to, co-conspirator number 6, had a documented history of being involved with these types of efforts to bring people, once they get over the border, and they get over the border illegally, to then be able to transport them throughout the United States. And one of the things they alleged that occurred here is that they would take the cell phones of the individuals that he would transport and keep them until the end of the trip. It's a way of making sure that somebody doesn't kind of jump off before they've arrived at their final destination. So still pouring through it, but I think initially some folks thought, well, it's just a case that involves a particular moment in time at a traffic stop in Tennessee. We have video of that. I'm not sure if it's been recalled yet, so the control room can show it. But we do have video of that traffic stop. We're looking at it right now. It's not just this. It's a whole series of activity that apparently he undertook. At least that's what federal prosecutors and a federal grand jury alleges. So this isn't even a criminal complaint. This is something that did go through the grand jury process.
So they've been working on this for a while, it seems.
Yes, and this indictment was filed under seal on May 21st.
Oh.
So clearly there's been an effort here to keep this under seal so that presumably they could bring him back to the United States, so that these charges wouldn't become public. We don't know who those 6 co-conspirators are yet, Katie, and I don't know if we're going to probably get some of that information, although one person, there's a lot of details around that specific incident that one of the co-conspirators was involved with, so presumably we might be able to kind of match up the pieces, the clues a little bit later on. But yeah, this is a little bit more of a significant indictment that I think people that were hearing about this in law enforcement circles were expecting.
Yeah.